naked, it's a turnoff, man.
Everything goes with naked.
When you cough, there are thousands of unseen muscles that suddenly spring into action. It's like watching that fat guy catch a cannonball in his stomach in slow motion.
Nakedness?
Jason-
Are you looking for nakedness?
I guess.
I kind of like negativity better.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamora. Here's Jen Latta.
Running her mouth, she wants to ride it, she's trying to hide it. I'm cool as ever, she's too excited. Her man look like he wanna fight, he ain't doing nothing but running his mouth. Talk about it, we all about it. They making plans, we sit and count. Our chairs stacked just like a mountain. You heard about it, she running her mouth, she wants to ride it, she's trying to hide it. I'm cool as ever, she's too excited.
You know what day it is, ladies and gentlemen, loyal listeners of Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, and football fans far and wide. It is day one of the NFL Draft from Green Bay, Wisconsin. That's what I was hoping for.
There you go.
It is also
It's
the
here.
anniversary. I'm not sure what anniversary it is of that lovely sound that you uttered.
That's been years. I don't even think Josh, you were here.
Well, it was
Were
when we
you?
first started the show, right? When we first started Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
With the other guy?
Talking about the other guy. Are you talking about Ashy or Gabe?
He who shall not be named.
Ashley's been bossy lately. He's on my list.
Voldemort. Ashy. Yeah, so it is the NFL Draft. It is very exciting. Was up there yesterday for production meetings and for an event that Good Karma Brands had at the Tundra Trio, and it was fantastic. Chewy, we have talked about this before. The difference that good weather makes on an event is astronomical, and it was a gorgeous day. It was warm. It was sunny. It was pleasant, and everybody was just in a good, excited mood.
Yeah, weather will do that to you. That's why I'm not coming back. Because it's like my golf game. It's like, you know, when I was in my 30s, I could play at 50 degrees, right? 50's fine. The older you get, the higher that number's got to be. And I'm to the point now, I will come back to Wisconsin when it's 70. And we're talking 60s, but that's, I mean, think of the alternative. I kind of wish it snowed. I'm not going to lie. Bringing back the old Spartan Charmer or whatever the name is.
Spartan Farter, that's right.
There, okay. But, I mean, this is a win. So far, it's a win for Green Bay. It's a
Absolutely. And everything looks great. I got a tour of the stage. I got a tour of the path that the players will walk. Guys, it is 1 minute and 15 seconds from the threshold of the green room to the stage where the commissioner is.
Were you overwhelmed, underwhelmed, right about what you thought it would be?
I thought it looked tremendous. And I got to be honest, underwhelmed, overwhelmed, I don't know. I knew that the NFL was going to bring out the big guns, right? I knew the NFL was not going to let the event fail. It looks incredible. It's a big time event. So we'll see how it all shakes out tonight. I'm sure it'll be great.
Where are you going to be? Are you going to be floating?
I'm going to be in the green room. As coaches are arriving, as players are arriving. We have College Game Day from 4 to 6 p.m. I'll be interviewing some coaches. I'll be telling little stories about some players. Nothing sad, nothing crazy, nothing, of my usual fare. But just, celebrating the day.
Queen, you're so mean. You're the crying queen. So no Jen Sada.
Joshy is on one with the hotkeys this morning.
Joshy is fired up. This is his day. He's been waiting for this. He gets the shine. He is hosting a show with Combine Boy from noon to 12. Are you ready to go, Josh?
This is Alex Strofe. Who's your favorite Packer?
Yeah. I've been fired up for the draft for the better part of 2 months now.
Yeah.
But it finally being here is so exciting. The fact that we get to be there this time around. We're always watching it from afar, and the fact that it's Green Bay is so awesome. We've got so many events going on through Good Karma Brands and Big ESPN being around. Like, there is I'm just going to be
It's a lot to be excited about. Saw a lot of cars driving up yesterday with Green Bay Packer personalized plates or Green Bay Packer stickers or, the little rim thing around your Green. So, again, I already saw a bunch of traffic going up yesterday. I imagine there will be more today and some tomorrow. Now, I want to get to this, guys, because Jay Glazer yesterday put out a report, Jay Glazer of Fox Sports, saying that teams are... They always do some of this, eliminate guys based on certain things, right? Choose some of the things that they typically eliminate on injury concerns, character concerns. No big shocker there. Although there are some teams, there are some GMs that do not eliminate guys for injury concerns or character concerns because, as Jason Wilde says, as Denny Tauscher said, talent outs. But Jay Glazer's report yesterday added one more nuance, one more thing that some teams are eliminating candidates with, and that is how much do they love football? They are eliminating guys from their big board who, quote, don't love football. Now, Chew, some of this is NIL related. When there's money, guys can convince themselves that they can do anything for X number of days or years in order to get that paycheck. Do you like that teams in the NFL are eliminating guys based on their quote-unquote love of football?
Yes, I do. And I think it's a good idea. I mean, I think I brought it up yesterday. Take, like, Ryan Ramczyk, who's a Pro Bowl O-lineman out of Wisconsin, first-round pick, is retiring at 30, So he probably played, 7 years? Joshy? That's probably sounds about right.
Yeah,
GMs want the 10-year. They want, what they think is a Pro Bowl player, offensive lineman, tackle, left tackle. They want them there for 10. So I think it's fair. But, we talked about it in the production meeting. I wonder how they would have classified myself. I don't know if I loved football. I loved playing on Sundays or whatever day you were playing. I love the locker room. I love the camaraderie. But there comes a point, and I get it because the money is so much different now, you just get sick of being sore. You get sick of being beat up, because the older you get. I mean, I remember struggling to get out of bed. And all I look back, I mean, my liver's got a whistle. Not for the wrong reasons, but the amount of anti-inflams I've taken over my career, which are a pretty harsh drug, are in, if I was to guess, 1,000, maybe more. Toradol shots, 60. So I get it. But it's fair for GMs to classify players whether they love football or not. And I tell you the truth, I don't know if I did.
So I will tell you this, Chew. I don't know how much college football players are thinking about the accumulation of the Toradol, which now is not a thing, but like the anti-inflams and all of the things that you have to do to get your body ready every single week to play a lengthy career in the NFL. When I was in my 20s and in my teens, my body was golden. My body was good. Everything I wanted it to do, it did. Yep. I wasn't thinking about when I turned 40 and things started to creak and crack and I'm like getting out of bed with a lower back that's killing me, which is where I am now. And I wasn't even an elite athlete. I wasn't even a professional athlete. So there's a part of me that thinks that like some of that is so far down the road, you can't even fathom it when you're in this stage. But I do know that there are college coaches who base who they recruit on their love of the game. When they're talking ball with a guy, and this is why it's still so important to be able to recruit at length with these guys, which, again, the new NIL and transfer portal has really diminished in some capacity. You have a conversation with a guy, and you can tell when their eyes light up talking about a certain technique, a certain scheme, a certain play. You know what I'm saying? All of those types of things. And I know coaches, I talked to Dan Lanning over at Oregon, who says that it matters to him. He wants guys in the foxhole with him who love the game as much as he does. And he knows that not everyone is going to. Not every guy is going to. So to me, Chew, this is more of a tiebreaker sort of thing. This cannot be the first thing that you are basing this on. It has to be like, it's down to this guy and it's down to this guy.
Yeah.
And talent-wise, they're comparable. And potential-wise, they're comparable. But which of the two loves the game, is gonna grind, is gonna be doing the film session, and wants to get in the gym? And I think about the Watt boys. I like it, love them or hate them, those kids loved football.
Yeah, love
and you
working
could
out.
tell
Yeah.
because the way that they dedicated themselves to the craft year in and year out, it was obvious, it was a no-brainer. Joshy, what do you think about do they love football as a defining, an element of whether or not a team drafts a player?
There's two things I want to add to this conversation. One is a supplement of what you said. Both Matt LaFleur and Brian Gutekunst stress wanting guys in Green Bay who love football. One of the greatest compliments that Matt LaFleur gives to players is he loves ball. And that seems to be something they're stressing in Green Bay, because I think they got to a point, not to point anyone out specific, towards the end where they thought they had some guys who were just there trying to make money. And they want to get away from that. The other thing I wanted to add is, I don't think this is new. I think it's more glaring with NIL. There's stories of coaches putting $100 bills into DVDs they give guys to watch film, and those guys never once finding that money, or Jamarcus Russell getting a tape that was blank and never finding out that that stuff happened. It happened with Manziel. It happens with a lot of guys. I think the NIL is just shining a big light on it, because now a lot of the players are simply mercenaries. They are going place to place where they can get paid the most. I do think, though, it is a great, as Lanning uses it, tiebreaker. Who's going to be the guy here that's going to be fighting for every last bit of what he can get out of himself? But I do think there are also as many great people who love football as there are great guys at playing football who never really love it.
Yeah.
They show up and they're just blessed.
Let me add two things here, okay? And this is why players that have played the game for a little while, they don't always jive with coaches that never played the game. And I'm talking the NFL. They always gravitate and they always love the former players that are coaches. Because some coaches do not understand what your body has to go through and how you feel week 17, week 15 of your 8th year. Nolan Cromwell knew, one of the greatest coaches I've ever had. He was like, dude, I get it. That hurts your shoulder. I'm not going to tell you to put your shoulder in there when it feels like it pops. Where another coach, special teams coach, what are you doing? Put that shoulder in there. So that's one. That's why players who are veterans in the NFL gravitate more to coaches that played in the league. Number two, I'll give you two examples. You're going to tell me that Barry Sanders and or Joe Thomas retire when they do if they had winning careers? Doesn't happen. Losing sucks. Losing's terrible. I don't know when I would have hung it up if we were 4-12 every single year. So that's another factor, and that's a reason why guys don't love football. Tennessee, you want to go to Tennessee? Really? When you know you're going to win 4 games next year? It's not fun. You grind it out. You feel like crap, but winning cures a lot of that.
And I think that's what these coaches that are using this methodology are thinking, Chew, is look, it's not always going to be rainbows and butterflies, Maroon 5. Sometimes it's going to suck. A lot of times it's going to suck. But if you love football, Joshy's laughing at me for the Adam Levine.
Just love when you make a reference and then throw in the name and keep it moving. Just keep going.
Roll along. Okay, Tina Turner, keep it, what is it? Roll it on the river. I do think that these coaches, though, realize that in the tough moments when things stink, when you are losing, when there are injuries to your unit and all of those types of things, if you love the game, you're going to get right back out there. You're going to get back out there, right? Yeah. And I think you can see it. I think you can see guys who just salivate at the idea of being out there, making a play, hitting somebody. I mentioned earlier, their eyes sort of light up. And I think that it's fair for coaches to use that as a data point, not the only data point, not the most important thing. Because I got guys who love football but stink. right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to
Yeah.
give them preference over guys who have elite talent and have a higher ceiling, much more potential. But I think this idea of, do you love the game? Are you sleeping, breathing the game? That's going to benefit a locker room. That's going to benefit a coach. That's going to benefit a GM who's hoping to stick around longer rather than shorter. We got to get to Jason Wilde. It's an interesting topic that came up because Jay Glazer reported that teams are now using this as a metric, as a data point for who they are going to draft tonight, tomorrow, and this weekend in the NFL draft. Jason Wilde from Green Bay, right after this on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
An accident on 43 northbound causing a little bit of an issue. It is off on the right shoulder, right at the ramp from North Avenue, so heads up with that. We do have delays coming up from Fond du Lac Avenue all the way up towards Keefe. Southbound, so far so good, nice and quiet. Northbound 41, different story. That's going to be a heavy ride from Watertown Plank Road up past North, back on the brakes from Burleigh all the way up towards Hampton. On the southbound side, we've got some backups from Highway 145 all the way down past Appleton Avenue, almost to Silver Spring. Traffic is brought to you by the Neal Group. They know how to minimize your taxes to keep more money in your pocket. Visit nealgroup.net to learn more. That's nealgroup.net. And checking the TMJ4 Storm King forecast today, partly cloudy, slight chance for a shower to the north, a high of 56 at the lake, 68 inland. And then tonight, mostly cloudy, light rain later on, a low of 44. Weather is brought to you by Infinity Exteriors, dedicated to saving our communities from unscrupulous contractors. Mother Nature can be unpredictable. Your roof, siding, and windows shouldn't be. We install peace of mind with transparency and quality guaranteed. Visit infinityexteriors.com. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Bandana? Check. Boots? Check. Gloves? Check. As a motorcycle rider in Wisconsin, you may go to great lengths to protect your image. Just be sure you're protecting yourself, too. Wear a Department of Transportation-approved helmet. Perform safety checks on your motorcycle. Know the traffic laws and don't take risks. Motorists and motorcyclists can work together to achieve zero preventable deaths on Wisconsin roads. Zero in Wisconsin. Together, we can save lives. Learn more at zeroinwisconsin.gov. Wisconsin DOT.
Escape the city and relax at Lake Lawn Resort in beautiful Delavan, Wisconsin. Enjoy outdoor activities on Delavan Lake. Tee off at the lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course or unwind at the award-winning Calidora Spa. With both indoor and outdoor pools, there's fun for the whole family. Take a cruise on the Lake Lawn Queen. Explore stunning shores and historic landmarks and enjoy delicious food and drinks on board. Book your stay today at lakelawnresort.com, where everything is better at the lake.
It's party time at Cousins Subs. For a limited time only, Cousins 2-foot party subs are back. Choose from the ham and provolone, Italian special, or turkey. Each party sub is just $39.99. Feeds 5 to 8 people and requires 24-hour notice to order. And now you can complete your party by adding a party chip bag and a dozen chocolate chip cookies for just $4.99. Order today in store, online, or on the app. Cousins Subs. We believe in better.
It's time for the Milwaukee Baseball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart. Packed with the best beer, liquor, seltzer, and spirits deals in town. Located at 16th and National in Milwaukee. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily, where your satisfaction is their plan of action.
The Crew gets their second series win in a row after taking 2 of 3 from the Athletics in Milwaukee over the weekend, including a 14-1 drubbing on Sunday in the series finale. Manager Pat Murphy.
We put the ball in play. We took our walks when we had to. We only had 1 extra base hit until Hoskins went deep. But, the first 2 innings, we just put the ball in play and stole bases and did the things we had to do that you could take advantage of.
A 4-game series is on the horizon for the Crew in the Bay Area this week as they take on old friend Willie Adames and the San Francisco Giants.
This has been the Milwaukee Baseball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart.
Ready, down, put.
All Packers, all the time.
He was a field tilting player, and the reason why Gabe and many others are so concerned is that This guy's on the field. He changes the offensive dynamic. They are a different offense when he is there.
Okay, most of the time.
You know, Homer calls Matt LaFleur soft all the time. Matt LaFleur is like Vince Lombardi compared to me.
It's Jason Wilde on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Jason Wilde for a brief moment yesterday at the Tundra Trio for our event with the ESPN Fantasy folks, and I'm certain that Jason will be very busy over the next few days. Jason, how you doing today as we begin day one of the NFL Draft?
I'm very busy, very, very, very busy. Barely have time to be. I'm multitasking. I'm walking the dogs right now before I jump in the shower and head over to the Tundra Tree. I'm very, very busy, so you're welcome for me finding the time for you guys this morning.
Thank you for your service.
Where will you be watching the draft?
I'm not sure. So we don't have access to our offices, which is one of my favorite places to be because it's the other location that I'm allowed to have all the stuff that Paula doesn't want cluttering up the house, my bobbleheads, etc. Because the Packers have been using the new third locker room that they built for like soccer games and stuff. So that's all off limits. So we're going to be up in the suite level, in kind of where the Glitterati watch games from, and then obviously coming down to the media auditorium when Goody or a scout speaks, and then I'm going to be shuttling back and forth between the Tundra Trio and the stadium because we've got a lot of awesome stuff going on over at the Trio. So it is, I'm really not that busy, but it is going to be a lot of legwork. So it's a little different than, a traditional year, even though the logistics of the actual drafting are really no different than when Ron Wolf drafted you in 1992. They have a nicer facility and a bigger draft room and that kind of stuff and more technology. But the bottom line is I've kind of been trying to explain this to a lot of folks that I've encountered this week. Like the fact that the draft is in Green Bay and the big carnival is going to be going on outside the stadium doesn't really change how Goody and his staff and LaFleur and everyone else kind of take the draft in and make their decisions.
Jason, we were talking about this Jay Glazer report, and this is something that you have talked to Brian Gutekunst about and written about for Channel 3000, this idea of love of the game, Kevin Costner. I'm just going to keep on doing it, Joshy, as we continue throughout the show. But Brian Gutekunst also emphasizes, does this guy love football? Using it as a compliment. He really loves football. When you wrote about it, what did you discover? This idea that teams are prioritizing guys who love the game.
Yeah, I thought Goody was really, really good in his answer to me, as opposed to the RAS score answer where he pretended that he'd never heard of it and then admitted that they have their own version of an RAS score. They just don't call it that. But they definitely factor in all those traits and athleticism accomplishments in the drills. Yeah, look, I kind of wrote it this way too. Like everyone kind of assumes, well, you're playing in the NFL, you must love football. Well, no, that's not true at all. And I would argue, and I'm guessing this is what Jay Glazer was kind of driving at, is that in today's climate, with the NIL money that college players have as they're already coming into the NFL, with the explosion in salaries as compared, I understand it's not 1992 anymore, Chew, but like with the way the cap has gone up far faster than inflation because of all the money coming in, these guys, they don't have to eke out that one more year of NFL paychecks. Like, your body's breaking down, but there's a team that still wants you. And so even though maybe you're starting to come to the end, you need to play that extra year because you need that money because your earning power is about to come to an end. Guys now, Ryan Ramczyk is a fantastic player, great Wisconsin guy, has dealt with all these injuries. He's 30 years old. He announced his retirement, right? And I think personally that's great. And I'm not saying Ryan's in the group of they don't love football. It's just he's kind of indicative of how things have changed. And so they can look at on-field production, they can measure all the jumps and runs and how fast your 40 is. But I have heard Goody use that phrase so many times that I wanted to ask him about it on Monday. And the idea that there are guys that this is more of a means to an end than the passion of, I just love this game so much, it is a factor. And the guy I use, and I really, really like this guy. I'm hoping, my understanding is he's in Green Bay for the draft. The guy I use as an example is Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy was a fantastic football player. Like, people forget how good he was. Those back-to-back years, he had 1,100 yards rushing. But, you would talk to him about, he didn't watch football games. I don't think he watches football games now that he's out of the league. He saw football through a different lens. And we all know how macho a lot of coaches are about what your mentality might be about football. But this is something that does, I think, matter in the equation. And so, again, if you hear Goody say he really loves football, don't dismiss that as just GM speak. Think of that as, hey, that was one of the reasons why we felt comfortable adding him.
Jason, how serious are the reports with George Pickens, Packers trading for him?
Yeah, so I saw those, and I'm definitely, Jen, our mutual friend Diana Rossini, always has these people who dump on her reports, and then they turn out to be accurate, and it irritates me to no end. I have no interest in debunking anyone's reports, and when I say this, I don't think I'm doing that. The struggle I have with that is George Pickens doesn't seem like the kind of guy, based on his reputation in Pittsburgh, that Goody wants on his team. We just got done talking about love of football and chemistry and all those types of things, and he seems like kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And so I have a hard time understanding, other than it would be simply, hey, we're not going to have Christian Watson for the first two-thirds of the season. We need that kind of receiver. We don't think Teteroa McMillan is going to get to us, and we're not going to trade up. So we're kind of, kicking the tires on this idea. But I have a very hard time picturing him in a Packers uniform, which means that trade should go through about 11 o'clock tonight.
No, Jason, I think you're right on the money on that one. That to me sounds ridiculous. I can't imagine George Pickens being a guy that the Green Bay Packers would be interested in. I'm with you. Well, I don't know if I'm with you. It sounds like you're questioning your own judgment on these things, but I don't think he is a guy that Green Bay is interested in. That's just what my gut tells me. Now, speaking of guys we know that they are interested in, there were a few draftees making their way around Titletown yesterday, including Tet McMillan and Matthew Golden. And Joshy, do you have that sound from Tet talking about being back in Green Bay? Take a listen.
You spent some time here in Green Bay a couple weeks ago. What was that like?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was good vibes. I immediately came to the facility, and they showed me nothing but love. So, I know that if I'm fortunate enough to come over here, I know that, I'm in good hands.
And let's hear from Golden, who was there as well.
Not your first time in Green Bay. You took a top 30 visit with the Packers. What's it like being back, and how was that?
Yeah, definitely feel like home, somewhere I can see myself, Any organization that's getting me, you definitely getting a true dog, a true competitor, somebody that got a chip on their shoulder like they got something to prove. So,
what did you think of those campaigns between the wide receivers, Jason?
Well, first of all, I thought Alex Stroh's voice was not what I was expecting to hear. Great questions by Stroh. A true dog, just like Matthew Golden. Look, both those guys came here for visits, as Stroh points out in his questions. Both those guys play a position that, even if Goody tells us that he thinks they could go out and win a game this week if they played a game, they would help their wide receiver group immensely. It would put an end to the 22 draft streak since Javon Walker of drafting a wide receiver. I was having a conversation with somebody last night that works in the building, and I don't know if either of those guys or Emeka Ibuka get down to him. And is Goody willing to go up? Like, if Tet McMillan gets by, is it Dallas at 12, and they take Matthew Golden or vice versa, then do the Packers try and get up there so they can get whoever the Cowboys don't take? I don't know. And all these mock drafts, they don't know either. But I think, and I can't remember if I told you guys this earlier in the week or somebody else, but last year somebody asked Goody about Cooper DeJean, and he gave this expansive, long answer about all these great qualities Cooper DeJean had. And that when Goody left the podium, Domofsky turned to a couple of us, well, they're not drafting Cooper DeJean because you're not going to say all that stuff publicly about a guy you're planning on drafting, right? And when he was asked about Tet McMillan earlier in the week, you know, the start of the question was, you know, you were the only GM at McMillan's pro day, and Goody says, I wasn't there. And like you weren't sure if he was kidding or not at first, so there's that awkward beat of, wait, no, yeah, you were. Well, I don't know if I was the only GM there. I might have been the only GM reported to be there. And then it was pointed out that he came for a visit. And Goody, like, I think he said 12 words, and most of them were like prepositions and ums and ahs about McMillan, which, again, that doesn't mean they're going to draft him. That doesn't mean they're going to get him. But that was it. That was the kind of answer that you would expect about a guy that you're genuinely interested in, and you don't want to be showing your cards at a podium. So, again, I don't know how things are going to fall tonight. I don't believe that he's willing to give up his second or third round picks. I think Matt LaFleur would absolutely love to have McMillan in his wide receiver stable. It would change their offense. At the same time, there have been some reports about him, you know, he doesn't like to watch film and all these other things. Well, I think those things are coachable and fixable if you have a good staff, which I think the Packers have. So he is one of those guys on my short list that I am going to be watching pick by pick to see how much longer he lasts. And I'm going to wonder if Goody will do something totally out of character and give up assets to get a specific player.
Jason, will Jair be traded in the next 3 days? And if he is not, do they keep him or cut him?
Yeah, great question. I just don't. And again, I'm open. You know, I made the joke about the George Pickens trade. It's only because the rare times that I give a strong opinion, usually it goes south. So when I say this one, though, I have significantly more confidence. Like, I don't think they're going to find a trade partner. Mm-hmm. If he won't restructure his deal and a team has to give up assets for a guy that they know the Packers don't want on their team anymore, I just have a hard time imagining. I just think it's a pipe dream that you're going to get something for him. Now, maybe they will, and I'll be proven wrong. But I think the end game for this is they tried to trade him. They didn't find any takers, and then they had to release him to get him off their roster before the off-season program started, and they were like trying to lock him out of the building. So, you know, I don't think I think there's a little piece of Matt LaFleur who believes, hey, this guy's still a really good player. Maybe I can mend this fence and we can get the best out of him in 2025. I just don't believe Goody believes that. So the end game that I see is him being released sometime after the draft. I know Domofsky also floated the idea of them keeping him all the way to training camp. Again, I'm not going to rule that out, but I think, you know, the idea of keeping a guy, holding out hope that somehow somebody's going to lose a corner to an injury in the offseason and be desperate enough to trade for him, I think the odds of that are really low.
What a fantastic segue into my next question, Jason, and we're going to keep you long because it's draft day and we want all of this insight from 1265. Are we overlooking the cornerback position as a potential for Green Bay with that first pick? Our buddy Greg Matzik says that it's near catastrophic, the defensive back situation, whether or not Jair stays. What say you about when you're talking to people inside the building? Does that feel like a direction they could go this evening?
Well, we all love Greg Matzik. Catastrophic feels a little strong, Greg, because, you know, they did go out and pay Nate Hobbs.
Correct.
They think very highly of Carrington Valentine and of Keyshawn Nixon. Now, the problem, of course, becomes you're not going to have everybody stay healthy, and the depth there. The next person up, I think, at corner is Kalen King, who was a 7th-round pick a year ago, spent the whole year on the practice squad. I don't think it's catastrophic. Now, that said, I don't think we're sleeping on that as a need because I think, Jen, you and I agree, it is clearly a need. Like, there's no doubt about it. And there's a kid from Kentucky
Max
whose
Hairston?
name I'm blanking. Yes, Hairston, who I've seen. I think Daniel Jeremiah has him going to the Packers. There are 4 positions that I will not be surprised at all if they draft at 23. In increasing order of importance to me, number 4, offensive line. Number 3, wide receiver. Number 2, corner. And number 1, defensive tackle / defensive end, edge rusher. Those are, to me, the 4 very obvious needs this team has. And quite frankly, as much as I love Teteroa McMillan and the idea of the end of the Javon Walker streak, I don't think that that's as big of a need as corner is. And by the way, safety, they're great at safety. I mean, they drafted 3 of them. They like all 3 of them. They like Zane Anderson. And, oh, by the way, they've got a first-team All-Pro in Xavier McKinney leading that group. They are great there. But the corner position, anybody who says that's not a need, they're probably Keyshawn Nixon's mom or Nate Hobbs' mom.
CB1's mom. Disastrous is the word that Greg Matzik used. I want to be clear, a little housekeeping there.
Still strong.
It is. It's still hard to the hole. You're right. All right, Jason, we appreciate you taking time out of what is going to be a very busy day, long day, to chat with us here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Have a great one. We will see you up there in Green Bay a little bit later on.
All right, I got to go get my Post-it notes and write Teteroa McMillan no matter what on one of them. So have a great day, guys. Take care. Be good.
He's Jason Wilde. You can hear him on Wilde and Tausch right after our show each and every morning here on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee. Still a lot of stuff for us to get to this morning. We've been talking about this idea about guys loving football. You heard from the wide receivers who were in Green Bay. You like either one of them to be in Green Bay. We just talked about the cornerbacks. Are we missing out on tracking these corners? Could Goody go get a corner in the first round, even though he brought in Nate Hobbs during the offseason? And, oh, by the way, we've got Mina Kimes from ESPN, NFL Live, all of the things coming up at the top of the hour here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Stick around.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
An accident on 43 northbound causing a little bit of an issue. It is off on the right shoulder, right at the ramp from North Avenue, so heads up with that. We do have delays coming up from Fond du Lac Avenue all the way up towards Keefe. Southbound, so far, so good. Nice and quiet. Northbound 41, different story. That's going to be a heavy ride from Watertown Plank Road up past North, back on the brakes from Burleigh all the way up towards Hampton. On the southbound side, we've got some backups from Highway 145 all the way down past Appleton Avenue, almost to Silver Spring. Traffic is brought to you by the Neal Group. They know how to minimize your taxes to keep more money in your pocket. Visit nealgroup.net to learn more. That's nealgroup.net. And checking the TMJ4 Storm King forecast today, partly cloudy, slight chance for a shower to the north, a high of 56 at the lake, 68 inland. And then tonight, mostly cloudy, light rain later on, a low of 44. Weather is brought to you by Infinity Exteriors, dedicated to saving our communities from unscrupulous contractors. Mother Nature can be unpredictable. Your roof, siding, and windows shouldn't be. We install peace of mind with transparency and quality guaranteed. Visit infinityexteriors.com. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
When you don't compromise on the court, you shouldn't compromise off of it either. Lose the calories, not the taste. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. Copyright 2024.
Hey Bucks fans, enjoy Michelob Ultra at Club Paragon Greenfield, Deer Camp, Milwaukee, Kelly's Bleachers Big Bend, New Berlin Ale House, and Stenny's Milwaukee. Michelob Ultra, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Buying and selling a home can be a stressful process. Hey, it's Jen Latta from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. The We Sell group at Keller Williams has a goal of making it stress-free for everyone. Their passion is people, their availability is unmatched, something I'm experiencing firsthand while I search for a lake home to enjoy Wisconsin summers even more. Rob and Nick are there every step of the way, not just for their sellers, but also to potential buyers and their agents to bring in as many strong offers as possible. Get started today at wesell.kw.com. That's wesell.kw.com.
Enough is enough when it comes to living with joint pain. If you're experiencing chronic joint pain in your knees, your hips, your shoulders, or your back, it's time to call my friends at QC Kinetics. They're the nation's leader in regenerative treatments, and they're helping you get your life back. When I went to the Greenfield location and I got to see everything that QC Kinetics had in store to help its patients, I was amazed at all the different tools in their toolkit to bring people back to full health. We're talking plasma, platelets, PRP, cutting-edge regenerative treatments that are giving people their life back and giving them long-term pain relief. QC Kinetics is able to do all of this without surgery, drugs, or downtime. A healthier life is on the horizon for you, but you need to take that next step to call QC Kinetics to get your free consultation. Now is the time to start enjoying life without chronic joint pain. Call QC Kinetics today at 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Progressive knows when you're in your RV, you're already on vacation. That's when you become Vacation You, who just camped where there's absolutely no shade. Even though regular you burns easily. In fact, Vacation You burns too, but is too stubborn to admit it, which is why regular you gets in trouble at the dermatologist, because Vacation You doesn't do doctors. So bundle your RV with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
When I wake up
The best mornings
in the morning light,
start with Wrangler.
pull on my jeans and I feel alright.
Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started on the right foot.
I pull my blue jeans on. I pull my old blue jeans on.
Good mornings make for better days.
I pull my blue jeans on. I pull my old blue jeans on.
Wrangler, for the ride of life.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
What was a rebound? What did you just say?
Robust.
Robust.
You could say robust. Doesn't robust sound like a nice word of saying just a click below fat?
No, buddy, you're not fat.
Well,
you're
there's
rebound.
Well, Charles Barkley.
There's another R.
Round mound of rebound.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN, the brand new ESPN Wisconsin app. It's a customizable homepage. It's easier and quicker. It's got live listening. Your shows at the touch of a fingertip. The ESPN Wisconsin app is available in Apple and Android app stores. Your state, your teams, your ESPN. Download the ESPN Wisconsin app today. Short segment here, Chew, but I want to get your take on the cornerback situation. Would you be surprised if Green Bay went with a cornerback? We have talked a lot about Jair. You're very good about asking every day if there's any updates with Adam Schefter, Jason Wilde, et al. Would you be shocked if cornerback is the first position that Green Bay addresses with their top pick tonight?
No. Even though I think receiver's more pressing. I mean, what word did he use?
Oh, Greg Matzik said disastrous.
Yeah,
he said
that's
the secondary
a little too
is
strong.
disastrous.
But I think that's more of a product of the receivers within the division than the position itself. I mean, because if you look at the three teams,
it's a great point.
They have pretty good receivers. So
couple of them.
They have to. Sure, they have to put out that fire. I still think receiver is more pressing. And I think the fact that they're probably the highest paid to quarterbacks now is evidence to that. Right now, I would say, and it'll be interesting because I know publications rank these things before they get to camp when it comes position by position. And I would say Green Bay's probably, with the DBs they have now, middle of the pack, Josh. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think middle to top middle. Like in that 12 to 15.
Where you look at receivers, they're going to be down by the bottom.
Yeah.
I also
they're going to be down by the bottom.
That the way that this draft could shake out, and there's a couple of things, intel that seems to be going around. The general thought, guys, is that quarterbacks might sit, right? After Cam Ward goes off the board, Shedeur might not go. Jackson Dart might not go. Like, you might not see these guys go in the top 10, top 15, top 20. I know everybody talks about 21 with the Steelers, and Shedeur could go there, but if Shedeur doesn't go there, how far does he fall? That is worst case scenario for a team like the Green Bay Packers, who wants as many quarterbacks as possible to go so that the guy they actually want falls further and further down the board. And I will tell you this, at the cornerback position, obviously number one with the bullet, no questions asked, is Travis Hunter. He'll be off the board in the top 3, so we'll move on. The next one is Will Johnson from Michigan. I haven't heard great things about Will Johnson, guys. Sat in a room full of very, very smart football guys yesterday. Not a lot of love for Will Johnson. Said that they saw some laziness on the film from him, amongst some other things that we can get into if people are interested in that. Saw a lot of screw-ups was one of the analysts' comments on Will Johnson. After that, you go to Jahdae Barron, and then Max Hairston, who is the guy that Field Yates talked to us about. He thinks that Max could be there when the Packers pick at 23. So, Joshy, is there a guy of the ones that I've mentioned, or maybe even further down the list, that you like for the Packers if they choose to go corner?
I like Barron. I don't know if the Packers are going to find him as the right option. I understand why they would be into Hairston. He is below their thresholds typically for that position, but the Packers have broken those thresholds for a guy like Jair. When you are that athletic and that sort of player, they will go outside of that. I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers take a corner because they view that as a premium position, and they view that like they do view an edge or an offensive lineman. They think those guys are absolutely critical to the success of a team. I think disastrous, as Matt said, is probably not accurate because they are 3 deep at that position, but they do need depth. I don't know if they're looking for the guy to be, like, if they're looking for this is going to be our corner, our CB1.
For the future.
Right. They think they're good enough now and they need depth. But if the draft falls the way you've seen some of these mock drafts and there's no Ibuka, there's no Tet, there's no Golden, there's no Shamar Stewart, there's no Michael Williams. Is gone. Like, then you start looking around and going, well, yeah, I can see why you would make the case for one of these corners who you probably view as a first-round pick that some teams might not be there.
I feel like you did work on Shavon Ravel, too.
Yeah. He was a guy who I think the story on him was he had a disappointing season and was expected to go much higher in the first round. He played at Eastern Carolina. So I think he's very much, I mean, he was in for a visit, so that's a key indicator right there. I think their desire for Ravel would be to him be in the second round if he's still there. That's sort of where I think they would view him the best, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's the pick there. Like, we never know where the Packers don't just look at the consensus board and kind of just go down. They have those guys ranked, and we see all the time, like, well, that might be a reach, but the Packers had him rated as the best option at that pick.
And I guess the H is silent from what I'm reading here. It's Savon.
Oh.
Or Savon.
I'm going to be honest, one of the players I haven't heard his name pronounced by anyone to this point.
Well, it was mentioned yesterday in our production meeting, so I wrote it down, but H is silent.
Good note.
I think if you just look at the picks before them, there's a lot of teams that need receiver. And, you exclude Hunter because he's going early. But, I mean, there's a lot of teams that, I mean, I could see all 3 of them gone. Tet, who's the other one?
Golden,
Ibuka. And Ibuka. I mean, I could see them all gone. So then it's not an issue. If those 3 are gone, they're definitely not taking a receiver.
Right, because you don't want to reach. Right?
Yeah. I don't know where I'm at between D-end and corner. Where are you guys at?
I think...
Let's say there's 2 guys you love, D-end or corner. Which one are you taking?
I think based on last year, you would be best served going D-end. I think you could make a faster, more immediate impact there. I think you can get by better with what you have in the cornerback room currently.
And I think you could also justify it by saying you went out and got Nate Hobbs in the offseason to hopefully elevate the production of the cornerback unit. But you didn't address edge. We got to take a break. We got to get to Mina Kimes at the top of the hour, but we got to get one more segment in here, so we got to get to break. I want to try to keep it on the clock for the second hour of the show. And Gabe Neitzel is going to join us. He is shuttling his way from Milwaukee to Green Bay to celebrate the NFL draft, go up there and do a lot of his responsibilities. So we will touch base with Gabe Neitzel as he travels to Green Bay with a bunch of loyal listeners and fans. in the second hour of the show. Finding money in your house can be a lot easier than you think at Great Midwest Bank. They have a simple approach to turning your home's value into cash with a locally serviced home equity loan. And since they take the time to really get to know you, your loan and your line of credit is fast and easy and a way to pay for whatever it is you want. Maybe it's a boat, maybe you need new appliances, or maybe you're thinking about building a pool in your backyard. Whatever it is that you need cash for, it's just a few clicks away at Great Midwest Bank. Experience your state of banquility at Great Midwest Bank.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today. More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Looking for localized banking solutions and a strategic partner? Fifth Third Bank has been shaping the future for businesses for 167 years and for the last 15 right here in Milwaukee. We offer industry-specific expertise, local decision-making, and extensive experience to help you navigate the ever-changing business landscape with your business in mind. At Fifth Third, we're big enough to provide sophisticated solutions and expert guidance, yet empowered to make local decisions and build strong community connections. Experience the commercial banking value only Fifth Third can deliver. Fifth Third Bank National Association. Custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
Hey, this is Mike from Infinity Exteriors. Buying a roof, siding, or windows can feel overwhelming. Hidden costs, confusing contracts. We don't play that game. We educate you so that you can decide. And when you know the facts, Infinity Exteriors is the clear choice. Since 1997, we've installed peace of mind with no surprise upcharges, flexible budgets, and immediate financing. Infinity Exteriors, saving our communities from unscrupulous contractors. Visit infinityexteriors.com.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions, a very handsome reward indeed. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%. Plus, you also get 4% APY on your cash and non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% IRA boost on annual contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rates subject to change. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18th, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Ever notice how wine enthusiasts often speak a completely different language? And while that language may technically be English, to most people it's anything but. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor, where we stock over 8,000 varieties of wine and speak many dialects of wine English to help everyone, from the wine novice to the master sommelier. So if you need an expert recommendation for wine, or maybe you know what you want and simply need help locating it, our experienced staff has got your back. No matter the budget, occasion, or your level of wine expertise, Discount Liquor will make you feel at home. Discount Liquor, unmatched selection, everyday low prices, a helpful staff, and 2 convenient locations. In Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma, and in downtown Waukesha on Barstow in Maine.
Discount Liquor.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Do you like your pickles warm or cold?
Want my pickle a little warm.
Warm's good.
It's better than cold.
Cold
You
can
got
be
shrinkage.
good too.
Yeah, well, no,
Cold
shrinkage
can
gets
be good.
involved. It's not great.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Chewy, what do you think teams are drafting for? You know, when teams go into the room and they're like, what are they prioritizing? What are the things that teams are prioritizing when they are building their draft board?
Playmakers, difference makers, potential Pro Bowl players. Like I said yesterday, bad teams take best player available. Good teams take positions of need.
Ooh, I like that.
Green Bay's kind of in the middle. They're a good team, but there are some holes. some pretty big holes.
And obviously, we think that Cam Ward is going to go number one. That's what all the arrows are pointing to. Do you like that decision for the Tennessee Titans, Chew? You think that they're making a good decision? No, right? They're out of the gate. No.
Well, the word on the street is we heard that the Giants are willing to give a boatload of picks to get that number one, which I would take in a heartbeat because they're more than just a quarterback away. And the problem is this. It's a copycat league. You hear that a ton. And they're banking on Cam Ward being the next Jaden Daniels, which there's some validity to that because, you know, last year's rankings had, after even they drafted Jaden Daniels, they still had Washington way down as far as talented roster. And you really see the one position what a quarterback can do. So my guess is that's what they're banking on. I mean, I watched, not a ton, but I watched a handful of Cam Ward and I know you watched a ton too, this past season, and he doesn't look to me to be a Jaden Daniels, so maybe I'm wrong.
Well, a lot of times the way the board shakes is because other teams are making mistakes with their picks as well. They're going the wrong direction. But obviously, Cam Ward is expected to be off the board first. We'll take a break. We've got Mina Kimes from ESPN, NFL Live, all the shows coming up next on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy to give us her draft breakdown. It's right after this. Stick around.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Northbound on 43, still dealing with an accident right just north of North Avenue. It's off on the right shoulder, so watch for delays coming out of the Marquette all the way up past that point to Keefe. Southbound slowing down from Hampton down past Burleigh. We've also got an issue on 41 northbound right about at Good Hope Road. It's a broken down vehicle stuck in the left lane, so the delays stretching all the way up past Good Hope Road. The southbound side, of course, we got backups from just before Good Hope Road down to Silver Spring. Northbound 41 also slowing down from Wisconsin Avenue all the way up past Capitol Drive. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, partly cloudy skies, slight chance for rain to the north, a high of 56 at the lake, 68 inland tonight, mostly cloudy, light rain later on, a low of 44. Weather is brought to you by National Liquor Mart at 16th and National in Milwaukee. Packed with the best beer, liquor, seltzer, and spirit deals in town. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily, where your satisfaction is their plan of action. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta. You've heard me talk about my community, so you know that local means something to me. And it means something to Great Midwest Bank as well. But what exactly does it mean to be a local bank? GMB understands community because they're part of it. Employees live here, and customers, well, they're just neighbors. Great Midwest Bank offers customized products that others just can't offer. Over 90 years of being a proud part of your community. Great Midwest Bank. Simply giving, simply local.
Let's talk about home turf. Your lawn is a reflection of your pride, hard work, and even competitive spirit. If you want a yard that makes the neighbors stop and stare, you need the right plan. That's where Weedman Lawn Care comes in. Weedman's lawn care program is kid and pet friendly, uses golf course quality fertilizer, and has an effective weed treatment to dominate any issue. Get a free quote of Weedman's winning formula for your yard at weedman.com and get 50% off your first treatment. That's weedman.com. Weedman for the win.
Gabe Neitzel here. Catch Jen, Gabe, and Chewy mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
At one point, I finally said, "Free, can you finish this after you put on some shorts?"
She ate breakfast naked? She didn't even want a nap. I've had bedroom naked. I've had walk to the bathroom naked. I have never had living room naked.
Oh, it's a scene.
It's like you're living in the Playboy Mansion.
So, nakedivity, or whatever the word is different to us.
So she coughed.
Coughing? Naked? It's a turnoff, man.
Everything goes with naked.
When you cough, there are thousands of unseen muscles that suddenly spring into action.
It's
like watching that fat guy catch a cannonball in his stomach in slow motion.
Nakedness?
Jason,
are you looking for nakedness?
I guess.
I kind of like negativity better.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamorro. Here's Jen Latta.
That's right, it is day one of the NFL Draft coming to you live from Green Bay, Wisconsin. It is a very big deal. It is a red letter day here in the state of Wisconsin, and we are so lucky to have Mina Kimes from ESPN joining us now on the phone to break down all things green and gold in the draft. Good morning, Mina. I know you're sitting in the makeup chair, so I don't want to mess those ladies up as they're doing their work, but thank you for hanging out with us this morning.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, just don't make me cry. Whatever you do, don't make me cry will be good.
Jen, control yourself.
I will do my very best. Thank you, Chew. Mina, we don't pay a ton of attention to all the other teams and what their priorities are. I know that you and the likes of Field Yates do. So based on what you think all of the teams ahead of Green Bay will likely be prioritizing tonight with their first pick, what do you think Green Bay ends up doing with the 23rd pick tonight?
Yeah, I have to think, as much talk as there is about a receiver, and I feel like that's every year with Green Bay, they're not going to go in that direction in the first round, based not just on the drafting history, but also the receivers who I think are be available there. And you asked about the players, or the teams rather, picking earlier. I think if Ted McMillan or Matthew Golden were still on the board, yeah, it'd be great, but I just don't think they're going to be there for Green Bay. So my inclination, maybe defensive line, maybe cornerback. Those would probably be the two positions I would target that match up also with where they're picking.
You don't think that Goody would trade up, let's say, if a McMillan or a Golden fell to the middle to the late teens? Do you think there's a possibility of that?
I would. I'm a little bit suspicious of the idea that he would be extremely active and do that. But McMillan is the one to watch, right? Because his range of outcomes in this draft is really all over the place. He could go as early as 5, and as you said, as late as 18. The Seahawks are kind of the team ahead of Green Bay. I think you got to keep an eye on for the receivers. So if I'm Green Bay, I would definitely consider trying to leapfrog Seattle in particular for McMillan, but I just don't think they will.
Mina Kimes joining us here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy in advance of the first round of the NFL Draft. What about cornerbacks? Is there a corner that you like? I told the guys, I'm sitting in the production meeting yesterday, and there wasn't a ton of love for Will Johnson. Guys were talking about things that jumped off the screen for them. Is there a cornerback that you like that you think could elevate that unit for Green Bay that would be, attainable at 23?
Yeah, well, if Will Johnson was there at 23, I would absolutely take him. So I'll say that. I think he is someone who has dropped a little bit in this draft process, and there are injury issues, and that might impact where he goes and his prospects in the NFL. But I just think prototypical size, length, good from Michigan, just a couple of years back, but the last couple of years, good tape and zone coverage, makes sense for Green Bay's scheme with Jeff Hafley. I think there's a little bit of inconsistency maybe in the 2024 tape. The lack of long speed shows up sometimes, but I think at that, where they're picking in the draft, he would be an absolute steal.
Mina, we saw reports that Green Bay is interested in trading for George Pickens. Do you think that could happen, and do you think that's a good fit?
I do think it could happen. It would be kind of shocking in some ways, but when the Steelers acquired DK Metcalf, it made sense and gave him the extension, but did strike me as a little bit of an odd fit with Pickens. They're sort of redundant in that offense. And also Pickens obviously has had his inconsistencies. I know in that building there's been some frustration with him. So it feels like a player who another team would eye and say, well, he's like the traditional prototypical X receiver who makes difficult catches. He's the kind of guy who's not available in this draft. So if I'm a team like Green Bay, I would absolutely consider it. With the also caveat that, you're going to have to pay him not too far off from now.
Is it a possibility, Mina, because is Pittsburgh forced into taking a quarterback in the first round because of Aaron Rodgers being Aaron Rodgers, and they would get a first-round pick back for Pickens? Do you think that's why? You think it may be a possibility?
I don't think that George Pickens is going to be traded for a first-round pick. I feel like maybe a second, but not a first-rounder. So start there. As far as the Steelers go, the question you asked, do they feel like they have to take a quarterback, is kind of the question of the entire draft, because as we talk about Shedeur Sanders, whether or not he'll drop, Pittsburgh is the team that keeps being brought up as the potential floor for him at 21, right? Yeah, he's going to slip out of the top 3, maybe the top 10. Maybe the Saints don't go in that direction. But Pittsburgh is the team that could stop the fall. But if they're not interested in him and they're not desperate to take a quarterback, then, where his destination is becomes very murky.
I feel like with Gabe not being here this morning as he is en route to Green Bay, I have to pick up his role, which is to ask about Shamar Stewart. Right, Joshy? This feels like something I have to do since he's not here. Okay, so here we go, Mina. Gabe is very concerned about the Packers drafting Shamar Stewart because he doesn't see the production on film from college. And unfortunately, we have a little bit of PTSD here in Green Bay and Wisconsin because they have guys, as you know, on their defensive line who have not had the production, the proof, if you will, that they can be productive, that they can get to the quarterback, which is an area obviously Green Bay has struggled with. Can you tell us, does it feel like Stewart is a direction the Packers may go there on the defensive line, even though he doesn't have the numbers to back it up from college?
Well, he certainly fits the Packers prototype, right? And I think that's why there's some associations there being made in terms of, you alluded to the team drafting kind of raw, athletic edge rushers in the past. Also, there's like size parameters that are unique to this organization that don't apply to every team. I also would look at a Michael Williams as a guy who sort of fits that prototype, but now people think is going to be gone by the time the Packers pick. He, to me, was kind of like the most Packers-y defensive lineman in this draft. With Stewart, I would have concerns. The athletic testing is insane. It shows up on tape. He is an unbelievably explosive player. He plays hard. His motor runs hot. He's a good run defender. He wins quickly, but he just doesn't finish, and that's what led to the lack of production, both in terms of getting sacks and TFLs. I'd be a little bit apprehensive that if I was Green Bay. I just feel like, to your point, they've been burned on that in the past, and they really do need someone who's a finisher, and I would be worried about Stewart being that, especially early on.
Well, Gabe is going to be thrilled that Mina Kimes agrees with his assessment, by the way. I'm going to be sure to pass that on to him when I chat with him a little bit later today. Go ahead, Shu.
Mina, do you think Jair will be traded in the next 3 days?
There's so much smoke around it that one thinks yes, but it hasn't really. It kind of has. Look, the smoke noise quiets down. The noise is quieted down a little bit, but sometimes that happens right before trade. So I'd be wary of saying never say never. But it does feel more likely than not he's not going to be a Packer next year.
Mina, we want to be respectful of your time. We know you got a very busy day, so thanks for hanging out with us this morning, answering some of our questions, giving us insight to which direction you think the Packers will go. Have a good one. We'll see you up there soon.
Thanks for having me. Bye, guys.
Love Mina Kimes. Great stuff. Always deep analysis on the NFL draft, on everything going on in the league, and she will, of course, be up there all day today and this week to cover all things NFL draft. Joshy, did you feel good about the Shamar Stewart information that Mina passed on, basically confirming all of the hesitation that Gabe has been venting about for the last few weeks?
I'm not as far down the line as Gabe is on I don't want him and I want anything but him. I have reasonable concerns about 4.5 sacks is when we're talking about college production and lack of that for like a first rounder, that would be like all time low. In terms of 4.5 is so low. It is so impressive. Now there is context of like he doesn't play a traditional rush end. They use him a lot to like kind of be almost like a Zach Bond would be. But guess what? Even guys like that typically in college have more production than 4.5 sacks and the low tackles for loss. I'm at the point where I hope he goes before the Packers just so we don't have to be there. Of the will they or won't they, and what could he because I'm also afraid he could just evolve into an elite pass rusher, and we'd all go, of course, the one we don't pick is the one that ends up being the one who's immediately instantly good.
Either way, there's going to be hand-wringing, it sounds like, too.
I'm not going to lie. When you said I got to ask this question for Gabe, I thought you were going to ask her about golf. And I'm like, this is
fair point.
That's Shefty.
Very
this
fair
is
point
Mina.
by you. Yeah. What was the best part of Augusta, Mina?
Yeah.
Chewy, before we get to Top 8 at 8 this morning and Gabe Neitzel, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Travis Hunter. I find his situation to be fascinating. All of the reviews, all of the remarks, all of the scouts seem to love this guy. Love what he does on the field, love his demeanor, love all of it. And he is expected to go top 3 tonight in the NFL draft. Where do you see more value for him? On which side of the ball? You like him as a receiver? You like him as a corner?
Well, from his standpoint, he's looking at the money. He's like, okay, which position is going to pay me more money, receiver or cornerback? And that has flipped over the last couple of years because receivers were below corners, say, 5 years ago. Now that's flipped. Now receivers make more. So my guess is he's going to go that direction. And I played against Deion where he did both. So I think from a team standpoint, they want him to play corner and then give him a package of 10 offensive plays. It all depends on where he goes, and their strengths and weaknesses. Obviously, he's going to be going to a bad team that need to fill a lot of holes, but that's how I would use him.
I find the whole thing fascinating because, to your point, it just depends on where he ends up, right? Like what the greater need is at either team. Again, if we assume that Cam is going 1 and we think that Travis goes 2. But is there more value on the offensive side of the ball than the defensive side of the ball? I'm sitting with Nick Saban yesterday. We're having this conversation in the production meeting, and Nick Saban says, I want to pay guys who score touchdowns before paying guys who stop touchdowns. And Nick Saban is a defensive-minded guy, right? He's a former defensive back. I found that fascinating, that for him, if he were GMing a team right now, he would want Travis Hunter on the offensive side of the ball primarily, Joshy.
What I find interesting, too, is if you are a good team, you can send Travis Hunter, if he's playing corner, and make him do a lot of wind sprints. Guess what? Whoever he's lined up against, and we're going to make sure we're going to tire him out because we're afraid of what he can bring on offense.
100%.
Like, I don't think that happens so much in college because he probably wasn't. Teams didn't really need to with the Colorado roster. I also think the thing about Travis Hunter is, despite all the chaos that was around Colorado when it comes to Deion and Shador and all that stuff, it seemed like he kind of rose above it all and was just, like we talked about in the first segment, a guy who loves playing football, and he wants to play both sides. He wants to be competing as much as possible, and I think that comes across. So he blends being so multifaceted, a Heisman winner, and having like a passion for the game that you could point to of like, he didn't take plays off, and he was on the field for virtually every single play.
Yeah, but you can still do both with him primarily being a corner. Because take Jaden Reed, for an example. He was playing, 30 plays a game? Take one of the receivers that's playing 30 plays a game. He's only getting 8 plays where he is the number 1 receiver. He's not getting all 30.
Yeah.
I still think you can put a package together for him and get the best and not tire him out because that's the biggest thing. And I think that's how they're probably going to use him because that's how they used Deion back in the day. Probably got 10 offensive plays and was primarily a corner. That's how I would use him.
So there's a few things at play here because what Joey Galloway said to Nick Saban after in the conversation when Saban said I would play him offense because it's more important to score touchdowns than stop touchdowns. Joey said, yeah, but on every route, you're not scoring a touchdown, right? A lot of those routes he's running and, wearing himself out and getting hit, obviously, bumped certainly at the line.
Yeah.
He's not scoring. He's clearing out on some of those. But the flip side of that is you can't have him primarily as a corner and then have a package for him for wide receiver because I feel like that's a tattletale, right? Oh, you're putting Travis Hunter out there in a package? Well, is he going to get the ball or is he just out there again to clear and make room for somebody else? It'll be very interesting to see how teams end up using him depending on how it all shakes out.
Let me just clear up a misconception because Josh, you brought it up. Guys don't get tired. They don't get tired. I never got tired, and I played some games 70-something plays. You don't get tired. If you get tired, you're not in shape. So he's not going to get tired.
And here's another point that Saban brought up is now they know scientifically data-based if you're tired or not. Back in the day, Chew, you got to look at guys and say, are they grabbing their knees?
Yeah,
are they
sure.
huffing and puffing their chest? I don't know if they're winded. No, now they got the GPS.
Right,
Now
the
they got
MPHs.
the sports bra thingies that everybody's wearing every single day, and it'll tell you, oh, his speed dropped off this number, and so we can see that he's fatigued.
Matt LaFleur cited that as a reason why they weren't playing Jair. He didn't reach the miles per hour
Well, it's
necessary.
always defensive guys. It's never offensive guys. I never heard an offensive guy, hey, lay down. I need a break here. Just lay down and pretend you have a cramp. It is 100% defensive players that slow the game down.
I feel like we're getting a slanted perspective here, Jen. I don't
Nope.
know about you.
Ask Tausch, ask Bulaga. They will agree with me. And they played defense in high school, so they would know.
I got one more story I want to tell you guys before we get to top 8 at 8. So Saban was talking about, they had asked him, they're like, hey, you ever seen a guy who could do it? You ever seen a guy who can play on both sides of the ball? And he said, yeah. He said, Smitty, Devontae Smith. He says that one year they were short numbers in the defensive backs, so he threw Devontae Smith out there to play corner. He said he was the best corner on the team. But if he had wanted to, he could have thrown him out there during the season to play corner. He was so good at it. And, so you got these freak athletes, right? And they asked him, they go, could he hit? Because, right, Devontae Smith is notoriously thin. He said, hell yeah. So,
really? Wow, that's interesting.
I thought that was a good little nugget. All right, we'll get to top 8 at 8 here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. And Gabe Neitzel is going to join us at the bottom of the hour from his shuttle up to Green Bay for the NFL draft. Hang out.
It's draft week in Green Bay and playoff time for the NBA. It's actually draft day. I don't want to undersell that. It is today. And our favorite daily fantasy sports app with the absolute largest payouts on parlays is Wanna Parlay. WANNA. It's just $2 for a shot at taking home a huge cash prize. It's a blast and so simple to use. And there are new basketball, hockey, baseball, and combat sports contests every single week. And again, the best part, it is just $2 to enter a parlay into a contest. Plus, there are always free-to-play games as well. Here's what you should do. Download the Wanna Parlay app today. And if you decide to get into the action, use promo code JGC for a 100% deposit match for up to $250. Put in $20, they'll give you $20 more. So download Wanna Parlay today. Use promo code JGC and let's play the world's richest parlay today. You must be 18 years or older to play. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER today.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Backups on northbound 4394 starting just as you're getting to the high-rise bridge and over the high-rise bridge through the Marquette up to Keefe. On the southbound side, we've also got some backups from Hampton all the way down to Burleigh. Northbound 41, a broken down vehicle stuck in the left lane right about at Good Hope Road is really going to cause some problems. Delays coming up from Appleton Avenue. Southbound side slowing down from 145 all the way down to Appleton Avenue. We've also got delays, of course, on northbound 41 north of Wisconsin Avenue all the way up past Capitol Drive. When business brings you to Milwaukee, make the Knickerbocker on the Lake your home base. Enjoy modern meeting rooms, lakefront views, and refined dining. Visit knickerbockeronthelake.com to book today. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, partly cloudy skies, slight chance for rain up in the north, a high of 56 at the lake, 68 inland. Tonight, mostly cloudy, light rain later on, low of 44. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
If you're a motorist of the four-wheel variety, please watch out for those of us in Wisconsin who do their traveling on two wheels. Adjust your mirrors to reduce your blind spots. Allow motorcyclists a full lane width. Use your turn signal when merging or changing lanes. And allow more following distance between you and the motorcycle. Motorists and motorcyclists can work together to achieve zero preventable deaths on Wisconsin roads. Zero in Wisconsin. Together we can save lives. Learn more at zeroinwisconsin.gov. Wisconsin DOT.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news to stats to placing bets in a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Big hurt.
I heard that's like,
Ron and the Kiwi and saying you guys should slow down before you take out a sponsor.
Here I am.
On 94.5 ESPN.
No, just don't. That was a conversation between you and I that kicked out to the everybody. A weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a fan favorite and a Bucks legend. Tune in to hear Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production. Marcus and Chris talk about everything happening in the Bucks world. They're joined by some of the biggest names in basketball, and they'll answer your questions too. Stay on the beat of the Bucks and find Here District now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcasts.
The top 8 at 8.
Name something that follows the word pork. You pine. Huh?
One category.
Name something people take with them to the beach. Turkey.
The top 8 answers.
The first thing you buy in a supermarket. Turkey.
The top 8 at 8.
A food often stuffed. Turkey.
The top 8 at 8 on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Name Popeye's favorite food.
Chicken.
Show me chicken.
The top 8 at 8 on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
No Gabe, so Joshy, you're at the reins. What do we got?
I'm going to go with an easy one here. I think you guys should be able to knock out most of this list. Simply,
is it as good as mine?
It's the draft, the last 8 first overall NFL draft picks. The last 8 people to be selected first overall.
Sure, it's easy.
Well, okay. Got to go back and think.
You want me to start?
I would love for you to start.
Caleb.
Wow.
There's the easy one.
How had I forgotten year by year? Crap. I don't know if I can go back.
Want me to go again?
Yes. Go ahead.
Myles
Garrett is the last player on the list.
There you are. I bookended it for you, Jen.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Okay, so hold on. I just gotta think back to what year. So last year was 2024, 2023. Who would have been the team in 2023 picking first overall? This is where things get dicey for me, gang.
The Bears had the first overall pick in 2 consecutive years. One was theirs. One was the this other team's.
I am gonna go with quarterbacks. I do think Trevor Lawrence was the first overall pick.
Trevor Lawrence is 4th on the list as the first overall pick taken.
Okay. Do you want me to go again, Chew, or should I continue giving it back
you
to
can go.
Joe Burrow was the first overall pick.
Joe Burrow was the year prior to Trevor Lawrence.
Alabama, Carolina Panthers.
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young is 2nd on the list.
And Kyler Murray is a first overall pick.
Oops,
All right,
wrong
doing
button.
pretty good.
Kyler Murray was right before Joe Burrow. So you guys are missing 3 and 7.
Reset it, Joshy.
First overall draft picks starting last year in 2024. We had Caleb Williams. Before that, Bryce Young. We don't have the 3rd option there. After that, it was Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray. You guys do not have the 7th name on the list. And then Myles Garrett is the last.
Are they all quarterbacks?
I feel like that would be giving away the answer, Jen. This isn't hints. This is top 8 at 8.
Do you think they're all quarterbacks, Chew?
Yeah, I'm just going to. I'm done. Just trying to think of bad teams. You got any more?
I got nothing else.
I got nothing.
The one
Open
hint
it
I will
up.
give you is the one guy who's 7th was one of the more talked about all-time personalities.
In college football?
Yes.
Well, I mean, Manziel was a top personality, but that doesn't
that's
line
too
up
far
from a
back.
from a math standpoint.
Yeah, I'm out.
This guy started the trend that caused a fight that led to, in future years, people getting pepper sprayed on fields.
Baker Mayfield.
Yes, good job, Chew. Yes.
You guys are never going to get this 3rd one, so I'm going to just put it out to the fans.
800-990-3776. We are looking for one more first overall pick.
Oh, was it Jacksonville? Was it the Jacksonville? Well,
Jacksonville took.
I mean, do you want to close it? You can. We haven't
Did
had
they
one of those
take
in
a
a while.
DN, Jen, or a linebacker that stunk?
I mean, maybe. When you think Jacksonville first round pick, I think Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, but there was a. I have a feeling it's Jacksonville. If he said we'd never get it, it's got to be that guy. And I have no idea who it is.
It's a defensive player that we would never
Look at
get, but
DN.
maybe our loyal listeners will.
Let's go
800-990.
to Chris and Oak Creek.
Perfect.
Chris, do you have the 3rd and final option here?
I think I do. Trevon Walker.
And he was taken before Hutchinson,
No
right?
idea.
I believe that is correct.
Yeah. Wow. Was that a swing and a miss?
No idea.
Yeah.
I have to get Chris's info, so you guys just fill here while I do that, please.
It's fine. I had a conversation that was supposed to be off air on the air earlier, so let's keep it up. Yeah, I have no idea. Trayvon Walker?
Yeah. I wonder if he's out of the league. That was a bad pick.
Let's see.
That's only 3 years ago.
I'm looking to see if he's out of the league. Professional career. On April 7th, 2025, the Jaguars picked up the 5th-year option on Walker's contract. So there you go.
Okay. All right.
I got to be honest, I don't really know much about the Jaguars roster.
No.
So I have no idea if he is a contributor or not. Let's see.
Well, he got the 5th-year option, so he's got to be kind of good.
Well, sure, but these GMs sort of, want to. They obviously you want guys who are productive, but there is that confirmation bias element of it as well, right?
But there's like a week away from decision time with Wyatt and Quay.
I know, we're right there.
I don't see him doing it. That's just way too much money right now.
It is a lot, and I know that Goody, they talked about that. He talked about it when he addressed the media recently, but he does plan on figuring out a way to keep those guys.
trying to Jordan Love him? Because Jordan didn't sign. Remember, they did the deal with Jordan that they thought was fair, which is smart, but I don't think those guys would do it. I wouldn't do it. If you're that close to free agency and they don't give you the fifth-year option, roll the dice and have a really, really good year.
Let me read you what I'm seeing here online. Triggering the option on Walker would cost the Packers $14.751 million based on playing time. Activating the option on Wyatt, who did not meet any of the playing time thresholds, would cost the Packers $13.922 million. Fifth-year option is fully guaranteed.
Too high for both of them right now. So
sounds like that's the direction they're going to go, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Joshy, what do you think?
I think the Quay Walker number is probably too much. I think if they do it, they are going to give the fifth year to Wyatt and give him one more year. Is it going to be worth it, or we're going to bring you back? And Quay Walker, they'll try and extend at a team-friendly deal because I do think they value him. They don't think he's elite by any means, but I think they think our team is better when he's on the field.
Hold on, but I value Quay Walker more than I do Devontae Wyatt.
Yes, and I think it's just contractually. Like, even though Quay Walker might be paid less than Wyatt will in that singular year, Walker would get more guaranteed, more security, and Wyatt, they'd say 1 year, prove it, we need the depth, and we just want to keep you around.
I don't know if I agree with that.
According to Pro Football Focus, 93 interior defensive linemen played at least 200 pass rushing snaps. Wyatt ranked 10th in pass rush win rate and 4th in pass rushing productivity, measuring sacks, hits, hurries per pass rush snap. Seems pretty good, gang. Seems pretty good. We got to take a break. We got to get to Gabe Neitzel, who is en route, I believe, to Green Bay, headed there for the NFL draft. We'll talk to him about how it's going right after this on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Northbound on 43 backing up from about Lapham all the way through the Marquette, all the way up to Keefe, so careful with that. Southbound heavy from just before Capitol Drive all the way to Burleigh. We got northbound on 41 backing up from just after Blue Mound Road all the way up towards Capitol Drive. Remember, we do still have this broken down vehicle that's blocking the left lane right at Good Hope Road, so we got delays coming up from Appleton Avenue to that point. And check the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. Partly cloudy skies, a high of 56 at the lakefront, 68 inland. Tonight, mostly cloudy skies, light rain, later on a low of 44. Weather is brought to you by Fifth Third Bank, custom solutions built around your goals, member FDIC. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
There's a winning magic powering up at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. This April, prepare for an exciting quest to $300,000 in the Enchanted Spins Slot Tournament. Just conjure your rewards card and play slots to earn drawing entries. Each Thursday, 60 winners will compete for thousands in cash and prizes. Let your journey begin with Enchanted Spins, only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
For your next night out, revel in the fusion of artistry and flavor with sushi at St. Kate, offering guests an elevated experience where freshness and creativity converge in every bite. St. Kate the Arts Hotel introduces an exciting new sushi menu to its culinary repertoire. Indulge in the finest seafood, freshest ingredients, and expert craftsmanship for an inspired and delectable dining journey. Experience the art of sushi at St. Kate and learn more at stkatearts.com.
The I-94 rivalry is more than just bragging rights. Get to the ballpark for Brewers-Cubs action May 2nd through the 4th and spend Friday and Saturday night under the lights and help the Crew defend American Family Field and the National League Central Crown.
That's your ball game!
Then pack the park for Sunday matinee baseball at the May 4th series finale and take advantage of the Sunday Fun Day bundle. Get your tickets now at Brewers.com.
Bev Anderson has a big idea she wants to share.
Bev has been here for 24 years.
Hi, Bev. We're anxious to hear your idea.
Kessler's is 45 years old this year. Monica, remember when your dad used to say in every radio ad, I'm Richard Kessler, and I want to be your jeweler.
I never got to hear that.
Yeah, and then Rick would say,
Kessler's Diamonds, inconveniently located on Appleton Avenue, Menominee Falls.
Inconveniently?
Richard said it was inconvenient for people to have to drive all the way to Menominee Falls, so he might as well admit it.
Bev, tell us your idea.
Richard said something else in almost every ad, and I think we should start saying it again because it's really important.
Tell us.
We do diamonds better because diamonds are what we do.
I love that.
Fantastic idea, Bev.
Kessler's Diamonds.
We do diamonds better because diamonds are what we do.
For the location nearest you, visit Kessler'sDiamonds.com.
Hey friends, celebrate draft week with the first round flavor of El Bandito Yankee, the official tequila of game day. Break out the Bandito Thursday pre-draft tailgate at 880 Stadium Drive and then head to Black Saddle at 7 p.m. for the first round watch party. Friday, the criminally smooth picks keep rolling with drink specials at Cock and Bull and Prohibition Spirits Cigar Lounge for rounds 2 and 3. Stock up for all your draft days with the award-winning all-natural Blanco, Reposado, and Añejo. Break out the Bandito today at your local Hy-Vee and Woodman's locations. Learn more at elbanditoyankee.com.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
There's two things she counts in the house. One of the pictures. What do you think the other one is?
Firearms.
Viagra.
On 94.5 ESPN.
This is a good vibes song, and it's a good vibes day. NFL draft in Green Bay. Didn't mean for that to rhyme, Seuss. And Gabe Neitzel is on his way. Oh my goodness. Now I'm just doing it on accident. Gabe Neitzel joining us now from somewhere between Milwaukee and Green Bay. Good morning, Gabe. Where the hell are you?
We're just going past Capitol Drive. Turns out there's a little bit of traffic when, it goes 43 goes down to 2 lanes right around Capitol. So we're finally starting to gain some speed and might be leaving the greater Milwaukee area, hopefully shortly.
How's your day off?
Day off. That's cute. That's cute,
Well,
buddy.
here's the deal, Gabe. Here's the deal.
Okay.
If you're not on the
All
show, I consider it a day off. Okay?
I'm going to be working until 10, 11 o'clock tonight, pal.
Okay.
What are you going to be doing at 10 and 11 o'clock tonight?
Oh, sawing
Well,
logs.
Sleeping.
Sawing so many logs.
I'll be doing what I did on air with you, Gabe, about 4 years ago. Asleep.
Still one of
Asleep.
the most iconic
Are you going to
moments.
stay awake? Are you going to stay awake for the Packers pick, or are you going to be asleep before then?
Well, the problem is it's 10 o'clock there. It's 11 o'clock here. I'll give you all right.
That's pretty
You
late.
guys tell me if this is fair. I will watch tonight's pick at 11 or thereafter if I get the first hour of the show off tomorrow to catch up on my sleep.
That's ridiculous.
No, it is
No,
not,
yeah.
because I'm old.
I thought you wanted
No,
to be
I
on
mean,
the show so you could gloat.
Yeah, because they're going to pick who I think they are. And
Who do you
it's,
think they're picking?
the D tackle out of Oregon, which is fine. I
What is
mean,
it,
it's not
Harmon?
sexy. It's kind of like a wet T-shirt contest in Dubuque instead of Miami. I mean, it's okay, but
Click that.
I would like them to go in another direction, but I could live with that. If they go offensive line, I will lose my mind. I'm just telling you. I will lose it. And I will have lost all faith in Goody.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
so
You'll
that's
want
why-
to come on the show and lose your
Yeah.
mind.
Well, so
yeah.
but if it is offensive lineman, I think I'd rather have Chewy be sleeping when the offensive lineman is picked, because then when he wakes up and he sees the offensive lineman was picked, he's going to be all fired up for the start of the show versus being all fired up when it happens. Then
And
he has to
boiling
stay
all
up late.
night?
He's going to have exactly.
Yeah.
He's boiling all night. I'd rather have the fresh reaction of him being pissed off tomorrow morning.
Yeah, no, I don't care if you boil all night. I just want the reaction immediately when it happens. I want it recorded for posterity's sake. That's all.
Well, where do you guys think they're going? I mean, where do you think they're going?
Well,
Tomorrow.
Gabe right now is going to Green Bay. Gabe, are you on a bus full of people, or you got how's it
We are.
working here?
So, yeah, we got a bus full of people, Travel Wisconsin, put this thing together. Some people who won because we talked about this, the trip that we were, promoting through Unsportsmanlike. So some people from in-state, out of state. So we're going to give them the full Wisconsin treatment. We're stopping at a Quick Trip on the way up there to get a little snack, stopping at Kohler to get a little brunch before we finally get up to the Tundra Trio. But it was a little horrifying this morning when I walked up to the bus and I saw Evan Cohen's face larger than life on the side of this bus. Like, that was terrifying to see, that I was going to be sitting on a bus that had Evco's face on it.
Yeah, is it just Evco? Is it the whole Unsportsmanlike gang?
It's the whole Unsportsmanlike gang, because it's through Unsportsmanlike, and everybody here on the bus is going to get to meet them once we get up there. But yeah, it's Evco, it's Canty, it's Michelle, all on the side of this bus. If Evco's face wasn't on it, I think it'd be pretty cool.
All right, Gabe, what is your go-to at Quick Trip? Okay, so you're walking into the Quick Trip. You got to show some of these folks who've never had a Quick Trip experience. How does it go? Where do you go? You go right to the pastries? You go to the hot sandwiches? You grabbing a bevy? What are we doing?
Yeah, so, first and foremost, definitely need the coffee. And, because it's early enough, I think we need to get the Quick Trip dunkers, expose the people to the dunkers. If it was more midday and lunch, I have an Achilles heel for their the peanut butter chocolate Rice Krispie thing they have. It's always sitting right there at the counter.
So good.
I'm not strong enough just to say no to it. I always have to grab it if I happen to be at a Quick Trip.
Are there any road sodas, Gabe, or what? It's Wisconsin.
On the bus here.
All right, okay, I like it.
We got snacks. Yeah, we've got plenty of things to keep the people full and entertained on the drive up to Green Bay.
But you're working, so you can't indulge, right?
That is correct. No carb loose for me until 11 o'clock tonight.
So
yeah, that's never happened.
You mentioned you got a long day ahead. You're going to get up to, I didn't know you guys were stopping at Kohler as well. That's an amazing little perk. People are going to love that. So you're going to get up there, and then what do you have on the docket today?
So I am going to be emceeing a cook-off, a grill-off, courtesy of Pit Boss, between the guy sitting to my left right now, Brian Balaga, and Tausch. So those guys are having some sort of grill off. I'm emceeing. Tucker Kraft is the judge. So we're going to have a little fun with that. And then I'll be a part of our draft coverage tonight, which starts at 6 o'clock.
Chewy, who's your money on?
If Brian's cooking pork, my money is on Brian because he's from Iowa, and the pork in Iowa is to die for.
Well, first of all, he's from Northern Illinois. We went to the same high school. He's from the Woodstock.
But he played at Iowa.
Yeah. Okay, so there. He played at Iowa. So you think he learned about cooking pork while he was...
Absolutely,
Why
ribs.
did you ask him, Gabe? Did you learn about cooking pork?
Hey, Chewy wants to know if you learned about cooking pork while you were at Iowa. He said no, he learned nothing about that. Absolutely nothing about that.
Completely blew up your logic there, big guy. Okay? Do you want to change your vote?
No, because Tausch is...
So Balaga also thinks that they're getting brats to cook, and he's not sure the last time he cooked a brat. So this could get really interesting.
But Gabe, you could help him out because your brat recipe is legit.
Oh yeah,
I will tell you this though.
Tausch has an unfair advantage. I'll definitely help my guy Blue out.
I will tell you this: if I found out those U-Singer hot dogs went up with you to Green Bay as part of this, there will be payback.
You will lose your mind. Yes, I understand.
I will
You're
lose my
losing your
mind.
mind all over the place.
You're making a lot of promises about losing your mind here, big guy. I don't think you're going to follow through on any of them.
Well, that's the blowhard. What, Josh, you called me yesterday the blowhard?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, you said something along the lines of losing your mind is an empty threat when the mind is already gone.
Fair.
Yeah, I stand by it. I still will.
So after you MC
who do you think they're taking? Who do you think the Packers are taking?
Who do I think they're taking?
Yes.
I've been leaning a little more cornerback in the last 24 hours, which makes me very uncomfortable, if I'm being honest. They already put some capital towards the cornerback position with Nate Hobbs. I was telling the guys, Gabe, I wasn't hearing great things. The guys were breaking down some film yesterday, and Will Johnson obviously is one of the top cornerbacks. Maybe he's even gone by the time the Packers pick at 23. But some of the comments that the guys were making, I don't want to say who said it because I don't want to put anybody's business on the street, but they were not the most complimentary of Will Johnson. I'm going through my notes here. Sorry, I got them all here. Looks like Patrick Surtain, good blitzer, but average tackler. When you watch the film, there are a lot of screw-ups. So
yeah, I guess the average tackling part doesn't bother me as a corner.
No.
But yeah, if a lot of screw ups is not good. I don't want guys getting lost on the back end.
Well, then I go to Max Hairston, who we had talked about, and I think that was a guy that Field Yates. We've talked to so many people in advance of the NFL draft, but Field Yates had mentioned Max Hairston, the kid from Kentucky, as a possibility for Green Bay. Even Mina, saying that he may be there when the Packers pick.
Like, I don't know what they do. Yeah, I don't know what they do with that.
Yeah, but you're not going to like what Mina said about your guy from Texas A&M.
No, Chewy, you totally misinterpreted that. No, Mina is in lockstep with you, Gabe, about the hesitation on Stewart.
So I want to sum it all up here.
That's not how I heard it.
Chewy, you picked.
What did Chewy hear? I want to know what Chewy heard.
I wasn't listening.
Yeah, he doesn't remember anything of what happened. So, Chewy, you're picking Derek Harmon for Oregon.
Yes.
Jen, you are going with Maxwell Hairston from Kentucky. Gabe, are you predicting Shamar Stewart, or are you just doing the only bad things happen and this is what's going to happen? Where are you at?
I'm hoping if I say Shamar Stewart, that reverse jinxes it, and it doesn't happen.
Oh, kiss of death, KOD.
Well, I'm going to reverse his reverse jinx and pick Shamar Stewart.
What is this? Reverse you back to me. Reverse you back to me. Skips you back to me.
You can't
Uno.
triple step a double step. You can't triple step a double step.
What are you going to do, bus boy?
Yeah.
Aren't you going to see him later?
Don't forget, we got a couple hours.
Maybe. He's not enjoying the carb list, though, remember? So it's less likely. Well, Gabe, it sounds like a really good time. It sounds like a bus full of people who are super pumped about the NFL draft. Brian Bulaga, Mark Tauscher, you got Tucker Kraft up there. And then, of course, I believe you are anchoring our ESPN Milwaukee draft coverage for the first round, correct?
That is correct. Myself, Homer, Alex Stroh. I'm sure we'll grab some more people that will be along for the ride as we wait to see who the Packers take at 23. I'm terrified, guys. I'm terrified of Shamar Stewart.
Well, don't worry about it. You got a lot of time before. You got a lot of time.
Yeah, does that make you feel better?
That actually does make it better. That does make it better.
Here's what we're going to do, Gabe. We're going to clip the sounder of Chewy making the draft noise. We're going to send it to you on your phone. Every time you get a little nervous about the Packers potentially drafting Shamar Stewart and his 4.5 career sacks in college. That's what it was, right? 4.5?
Yep.
Yeah, 4.5. Year and a half, 1.5, all 3 years.
Play
God bless America.
1.5, all 3 years. Play the sounder, and it'll make you feel better.
How can you not laugh when you hear that? It's so good. Chewy, I think that's the best thing you've ever done.
Yeah, well, that ain't saying a whole hell of a lot now, is it?
All right, Gabe, we'll let you go, man. Have a great trip. We'll see you up there at the Tundra Trio.
All right, we'll see you up here tomorrow, Jen.
All right, we'll take a break. Go ahead, Joshy.
The best pick is brought to you by Lakeland University, where your pick is your future. Customize your degree on your teams. Learn more at lakeland.edu/draft.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today. More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Draft week is here, and whether you're watching every pick or just there for the party, Higher Love has everything you need to elevate your draft experience. As the best in the Midwest, Higher Love offers the largest selection of organic, clean, green, certified products at unbeatable value, making them the can't-miss top pick. Higher Love Menominee, just an hour from Green Bay, right across the Wisconsin border. Find them at findhigherlove.com/CBD.
No shortcuts, no compromises, just the job done right. At Exterior Pros, we don't just meet expectations, we crush them. Every nail, every window, every shingle is a step toward your home's next chapter. From the moment we start until that final reveal, we're committed to making your home better than ever. Quality products and craftsmanship you can count on. Go to the pros for your next project. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274.
Escape the city and relax at Lake Lawn Resort in beautiful Delavan, Wisconsin. Enjoy outdoor activities on Delavan Lake. Tee off at the lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course or unwind at the award-winning Calidora Spa. With both indoor and outdoor pools, there's fun for the whole family. Take a cruise on the Lake Lawn Queen. Explore stunning shores and historic landmarks and enjoy delicious food and drinks on board. Book your stay today at lakelawnresort.com, where everything is better at the lake.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on the Packers. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Well, here we are again, and I got to tell you, Jim, this match has me really concerned.
Here we have a powerful heavyweight, a train, weighing in at 6,000 tons. And this hasty lightweight challenger, a car, at just 1.5 tons.
This does not bode well for the car or the people in it.
It's no contest. Every day, people are injured or killed trying to beat a train at rail crossings. See tracks, think train.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news to stats to placing bets in a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Evan Cohen here. Picture this. You arrive at your hotel. You have an important online meeting lined up with clients from all across the country. You have your laptop open. You're ready to begin. And the Wi-Fi is so terrible, you can't even connect. These types of stressful situations happen all the time, but they don't have to. When you book a room at La Quinta by Wyndham, you have access to their free high-speed Wi-Fi, so you can take care of those critical emails, join your meetings on time, and even unwind streaming your favorite shows without having to worry. Tonight, La Quinta. Tomorrow, you shine. Book direct at LQ.com.
Introducing minus 196. That's minus 196 vodka seltzer. Crafted with real spirits, premium vodka, and just 3 grams of sugar per 12 ounces. What makes it different? Our freeze crush infusion process. We take real, whole fruit, freeze it to negative 196 degrees Celsius, crush it into powder, and infuse it straight into the vodka. That's flavor you can feel. Lemon, strawberry, grapefruit, peach. Minus 196 brings the real fruit punch. Minus 196. Please drink responsibly.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
But she doesn't know. Every now and then, I got the blammer coming up and I'll let you use my tractor for 2 of the blue things. Which I think's a pretty good deal. Which gets me in trouble.
You got a Viagra ring?
Yeah. On 94.5 ESPN.
Are you listening? Whoa.
I am nervous about my Max Hairston pick. I feel like I was sort of rushed into it. I'm feeling a little Ron Wolf-esque, when it was make a pick. But
we'll let you change it.
No. It's the 11th hour. I'm out of here. Got to go get hair and makeup done. I got the show this evening, and then the draft is going to happen. Either way, I'm just excited that day one is here. Packers are about to get better. They're going to add some pieces. They're going to bolster some of these units. I'm excited about that. At 10 p.m., I might have a different tune. I might be whistling a different tune. But right now, I'm pumped.
I think we covered the board this year in potential options. Other than, and we've mentioned the names that might be at offensive tackle. Other than that, I think that would be the only thing we probably didn't cover to an extent. We've gone over the edges. We've gone over the wide receivers. We've gone over the cornerbacks. It doesn't seem like they're going to venture too far out of. Last year, we didn't mention Jordan Morgan, despite him being one of the options that we should have. I think we got it this year. One of us nailed it. At some point, we talked about this guy. That's just how I feel about it.
All right, take your word for it. I mean, I got a big fat beast book over here with a lot of names in it. I never even cracked the linebackers for what it's worth. I didn't even look at linebackers.
No, none of you guys wanted to take trade out of the first round.
Is
that a possibility?
Yes. Very
How
much.
big a possibility?
Trading out of the first round, yes. But again, the argument was nobody wants to go up, except for apparently the Giants. Whatever your sources are, Chewy, telling us about the Giants wanting to move up. Like, nobody wants to move up. So,
well, not yet.
Field Yates said this is the first time ever that every team is currently picking where they were slated to pick. That's never happened before.
Yeah.
There have always been pre-draft trades.
What I think is interesting, because all these guys are viewed sort of at a flat level, is doesn't that just mean it's going to be easier to trade up? So if you do have conviction on one of these guys in the early 20s, and you think this guy should be a top 10 guy and he's not there, because there's nobody else calling on it, and teams are like, yeah, I can get the same guy at 20 as I can at 35. Like, wouldn't that also then make it easier if you did have the conviction? So I think we're going to see a pretty normal amount of trades.
Do you think there'll be any Aaron Rodgers news? As we wrap up the show, any Aaron Rodgers news percolating today?
After finding out that the Pat McAfee show will be in attendance there, I think that increases the odds of an Aaron Rodgers. He might not be there in flesh, but he can join via video.
I'll just say this. Uh-oh. If he announces today that he's playing for Pittsburgh, he's a douche. I mean, really, you got to wait till the spotlight is just glaring on you. I mean, are you with me or not?
I don't think he's going to do that.
I don't know if he will, but I'm just saying if he does, dude, get over yourself.
I don't think that's the play. But I would not be surprised if you hear Aaron Rodgers' name at some point. Again, to your point, Josh, Pat McAfee and his gang, they'll be there.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk to Ty Schmidt tomorrow as well. Ty Schmidt from the Pat McAfee show.
Do you think Pittsburgh takes a quarterback?
I
with
do.
The first pick. With the first pick.
I do. 21, I think they take a QB.
If he announces, say, retirement today, would that be as bad to you, Chewy, as him announcing?
No, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Because that would be releasing the Steelers, right? It would be like, go do your thing. Go draft with freedom.
Yeah.
Although I'm not sure it affects it either way.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd kind of still have a problem with it, but it wouldn't bother me as much.
It would lessen the blow?
It would lessen the blow.
In case you missed it earlier, we did talk about George Pickens and that potential rumor that the Packers were interested. I think we all agree that doesn't sound like a Packers guy. But heck, guys, it's the NFL draft tonight, where dreams are made and there are opportunities around every corner. We will see you up in Green Bay. Have a great one, everybody. Wildy and Tausch is next.